Welcome back. It's still Galaxy today, and we are X-raying and doing a post-mortem analysis of the fire incident in Lagos on Thursday, plus safety tips. We still have Engineer Tiamiyu with us, a safety and HSC manager. We have joining us right now the General Manager of the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority, Adesina Tiamiyu. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today.
Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with you, Sheena. Let's talk about the reactions, observations, and your findings about what happened on Thursday from your own end. What were your observations in terms of what should have been averted? And of course, what are your findings so far after the whole incident?
Well, I think I will start by saying we will continue to commiserate with the families that have lost their loved ones to this unfortunate incident. One, it's a failure of system.
Okay.
Because if you look at the clips that is currently circulating on the social media about the truck that actually caused this accident, it was rolling back. The press conference held by Lagos State government also confirmed that that truck had no capacity to carry what it was carrying. And then it was loaded at the port. So
who do we put this blame on?
First, we should situate it from where it's coming from.
Okay.
Why did you load a vehicle that is beyond, to carry something beyond its capacity? That's one. And then, this vehicle rolled back and created this problem. The next thing is for rescue, and which we responded to. But unfortunately, we also have this crowd that have come to watch, to film, to record, and to quickly send to the social media. They didn't help us at all. And that's one bad thing about the situation we have found ourselves in this country. When help is required, you see people wanting to be the first to put it on the social media. That's not a good one. Okay. Even our vehicles find it difficult to assess the incident scene because the whole of that area was shut down. For us to get there in good time, we drove against the traffic. And then you now have sea of heads. You have a burning, queue of vehicles. Each of them have tanks. And there is that tendency for explosion to quickly occur as soon as some degree of heat is generated. And we keep shouting on people. In fact, the problem we have was to manage that crowd rather than to quickly extinguish the fire. And majority of those who died were found outside of the vehicles.
Okay, sorry to just butt in here. 24 hours from the report we just watched, 24 hours after that incident happened, there's another, issue on the other side of the road. I mean, what is it that, let's say, Lagosians or Nigerians have failed to learn? Because this was just in the wake of an incident that actually took a national tragedy, not just a Lagos tragedy, and people were still not conscious, people were still not enlightened as about what they needed to do. There was an incident that happened along that same route. And just not too long ago, there's a particular post just making its round in social media where a vehicle, a fuel tanker was running and someone was holding the hands to stop. I mean, I want you to just pass out some messages to people, not just in Lagos, but to Nigerians as regards to what they should learn from what has happened since last week.
Well, I think the first lesson is for everybody to be safety conscious. When you see a situation like that, the first thing you should do is to call for help. Don't resort to self-help first. Even if you do, and we get there and the incident has been cleared, we will tell you what to do next time and then go back. We don't charge money, so it doesn't cost you anything, and we won't complain. It's our work. Then again, you must also ensure that you are safe. Give distance. Allow emergency workers to work. The emergency toll-free lines 112 and 767 is there for you to call for help. It does not matter. At panic time, we know people forget so many things. And that's why the short code is just 112 767, just 3. You can memorize that easily. It doesn't matter what the problem is.
Okay, is 112 as a number or 767?
Each of them, there
Okay.
are two numbers,
There are two
112
numbers, two
or
different numbers.
767.
Okay.
When you call that number, tell us the problem. We know the agency that will come and help you. From the emergency, even to the non-emergency calls, we will help you. Then again, there is also this, malaise of our people wanting to go right into incident scene. The danger there is enormous, even for us. Look at, as we were doing that extinguishing that day, one of the tanks exploded and everybody started running. Of course, there was stampede. Some people were injured, not because they were involved in the accident, but because they were onlookers wanting to come and join us. If we need the help and support of the people, we appropriate where they should stay, what they can do, because we won't put them in the arm's way. Even for us as responders, they should allow us free space to run.
Okay, please, let's talk about LASEMA now and the authorities you work with. Let me just use what I see in movies. Incidents like this happen, the barricade everywhere. You have policemen trying to caution the crowd while you do your job. Okay, but let's date it back to before the fire incidents that happened, the explosion. A few days before then, we had a truck accident at Ojuelegba. And that was also an emergency case.
Yes.
I don't know how many lives were lost there. Now, 3 lives were lost, and then 9 lives, So my question is there a way LASEMA can be proactive? I mean, some of these incidents can be avoided in a way. Is there something LASEMA can do to see that these incidents are minimized and it's not as much as what we get to see these days?
Well, I represent LASEMA.
Okay.
LASEMA manages road traffic. But you see, there is something we can do. And one of these is public education.
Okay.
We need to let our people know that to drive your car out of your home every morning, ensure those vehicles are in good condition. That's very important. Because most of these things are either brake failure, overspeeding, mostly human errors. You have a vehicle that the brake you are managing, that's an accident waiting to happen.
Okay.
You have a vehicle without side mirrors, you cannot even see an oncoming vehicle from the position of your sitting in the car. That's not very good. And then you must also understand the fact that conditions that you drive in also necessitate the driving culture you must approach. When it is raining, you cannot be speeding like you do during the dry season. Because immediately you apply your brake, you're likely to move. Then bumper to bumper driving, when we can avoid it, we should avoid that. I advise people, when you see trucks, these trailers, carrying containers, tankers, give space.
Okay, we'll still come back to you. And let me just get a word from you before we move to Abuja, Engineer Badmos. Looking at all of this specifically, I want you to address the video I just mentioned that is going viral right now. What in that particular situation should that guy have done? He was trying to, trying to block the fuel from coming out with his hand. I mean, I'm sure he's even posing more danger to himself, than trying to save the situation.
Even the man on his own is under serious unsafe condition for himself. Even standing there without fuel coming out. Now, fuel coming out, they're supposed to park their vehicle, then make sure that people stop moving that place, because the more they move is PMS, that can easily, exactly. So stop, call LASEMA.
Yes.
I can talk boldly of Lagos. Call LASEMA, they'll be there, and they'll barricade the area, just as I've said, and they will allow people to move. But the challenges we have is from the top, just like when you ask the first question, who should we discuss with? Let me take it this way, government. Now, not state now, I'm coming to state, federal government. There is what we call the law of health and safety. In this country, you won't believe it. The law that governs health and safety, number 1 law, is called Factories Act, 2004. That's the law that talks about health and safety in Nigeria as a whole. The law is very old, it's obsolete. Everybody knows that. Now they've pushed bills to the House. There's a bill from Senator Duro is there. There's even executive bill from Minister of Labor and Employment. How many years? They are still there till now. So if National is not doing anything, with that law, if that law is passed, if that bill is passed into law, all the companies you are seeing that allow trucks that are not okay to go out of their company, it won't happen again. Because the laws give rooms for inspection, external inspections on those trucks. That's federal government area. Angles they need to come in. On the state government area, not all the state governments have LASEMA, have Lagos Safety Commission. In Lagos, there's a Lagos Safety Commission that looks at health and safety. There's LASEMA in case it fails, they come to rescue children and contain the emergencies. Other states don't have almost all these. And if you look at LASEMA, not because it's here, they are fully kitted and well kitted. Not other states have this. On the professionals as a whole, the government need to recognize the professional body in which they give an art to. Institute of State Professionals of Nigeria.
All right, we have to go to Abuja right now. We have a policy analyst joining us, Jide Ojo. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today. Looking at safety tips during a disaster, I just want to get your candid opinion concerning what happened on Thursday as regards way forward and what we can do to prevent recurrent. What would your suggestions be?
That we stop this idea of using articulated vehicle for all ages on our highways, particularly interstate haulage. The vehicle in question was registered in Nasarawa, Kano State, has changed hands 13 times, was meant to originally carry 15 tons, is carrying double the capacity. If we have fixed our pipelines, that vehicle should not necessarily have been on the road. If at all it will be intra-city. And situations where you have to carry inflammable material from one state to another is not helping us. That's one. Two, had it been that we have fixed our rail line, again, that would have helped in the transportation of such inflammable materials and minimally reduce chances of accidents caused by articulated vehicles. But beyond and above that is also the issue of corruption of those who are certifying vehicles as fit, as well as those who are certifying the drivers as fit to drive. You'll find out that in many instances, once some few bucks pass hand, you don't even have to present your vehicles at the VIO centers for you to get the necessary certificate. You may pay for it, but at the end of the day, what you do is that you just get the original certificates of roadworthiness. And that's why I like what the guest in Lagos was saying about whether this idea of 30 days for all articulated vehicles to get certified is geared towards improving Nigeria in Lagos or actually public safety. If those who are saddled with their responsibility to certify vehicles would do the needful and make sure that they actually inspect those vehicles and ensure that they are roadworthy before they move, I think we will have less of this carnage on our roads. Again, public education, where it has happened, I think people should just excuse this idea of I want to break the news, moving too close to incidents scene because they want to film and break the news on social media. They should allow responders to do their work by making sure that they are actually at a safe distance, even if they want to watch or they want to help. They should allow the responders to do their work rather than encroaching or obstructing the work of those who are supposed to bring sanity and restore normalcy to such places.
As we can take from Abuja for the sake of time. We've been speaking to Jide Ojo, our policy analyst. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts with us on Galaxy today. Let me bring this next question to the LASEMA GM. We spoke with the Fire Service Director in Oyo State trying to do a post-mortem analysis on this situation. And one issue that came out to the fore was that of aerial control. I don't know what the situation is here in Lagos. I know NEMA has something like that, but in situations like that, like what happened on Thursday, don't you think if there's a bit of an aerial, maybe a unit managing that situation, it would have been faster or something? What's your opinion concerning that?
For area surveillance of our work here, we depend on the RRS, and they're also one of the first responders to incidents in the state. Where it is necessary to do an area surveillance, we inform the RRS commander, who of course mobilizes men, and then they do such surveillance. We've seen it, in Lagos many times. And the issue raised by the man from Abuja concerning the certification of trucks, I want to appeal to Nigerians, let's give efforts some chance. It cannot be because of IGR, not at all. Because I'm sure the governor of Lagos State is as much concerned as anybody. He was there deep in the night, and he instructed that by the morning, he does not want to see any trace of that thing there. One, because we want to quickly erase that memory from the minds of Lagosians. And then again, we know in the morning, if you still have those stack of vehicles there, you're going to start having accidents because people will be looking and then they won't move. And if you see the topography of that area, I don't know, it's a slope, you have a valley, and then you climb again. In fact, that's the most cause of the problem. Those accidents you saw that day were because of the unruly downfall drivers driving against the traffic. We also need to let Nigerians know, all Lagosians generally, that when an emergency like that occurs, yield right of way to emergency responders. They are going there to save lives. It could be anybody. If it is someone today, it could be you tomorrow. So we should have that culture, not to want to drag road with them, or you want to even use their siren to clear road for you. And downfall drivers, we need to partner with these, unions to send these messages to their people. Public education, like we say, is important. The Ministry of Health will be holding a press conference shortly, where they plan to have this DNA, conducted on the bodies, because we open a help desk in LASEMA, and a lot of the families are coming in. We want them to give us who their family member they are looking at is, details, if they have pictures, the numbers and all of that, so that at the end of the day, when we put all of this together, we will be handing over bodies to those who actually own them. It's a pathetic situation for now. Yeah. Yesterday, we also went around hospitals to find out how those who survived are doing. We were at the emergency center at the toll gate here, and they have been moved to Bagadabon Center. We saw some of them, and they are doing pretty well. Unfortunately, we lost one of those who were rushed to the hospital that day because he had a very bad burn. But by and large, we also understand some private hospitals around Omole and Isheri, have some of these victims. I'm saying this so that families who are still looking for people, should just calm down. As soon as we are done with all of these things today, we will also go. We have some hospitals, they're giving us their names. We will go there and find out and take, details of those people. If their family are already aware, we will know. But if not, we will capture all of that, so that when we sit together with these families, we will be able to sort out, pocket of challenges we still have for now.
Okay, so before you go, I know we need some kind of safety tips in situations like this as individuals, and then of course as a society. Let's start with you. What are those immediate tips that we should probably be looking out for, or what are those things we should have hands on?
When the incident has happened,
yes,
or
before, after, and probably
to prevent recurrence. Number one, all the companies involved in logistics, their health and safety department need to be strengthened and need to do a lot of checks before vehicles move out. Their drivers need to be checked for alcohol, their vehicle must be checked, it's okay. And because of different weather conditions and road conditions, we must understand the driving tips for that area. And for us, who are Lagosians or the public, when we see anything that happened, it has happened, we should stop, just as everybody is saying, start filming, start sending to social media. We need to clear away from such area, because if there's an explosion, it can get to you where you are. So people need to understand that very well. And the truth is, everybody should take safety from home to the road to work. It should be everybody's responsibility, including the press. Press, we need you. Now everybody is saying public education. One of the best way to get across to people is through press. And I think LASE should take this as a forefront too.
Thank you.
Before we go, Tiamiyu, let's look at another development, the restriction of buses and the 30-day ultimatum that the Lagos State government has given to designated trailer. In your opinion, how far would that go?
And just as I've said, it's a preliminary findings. And as I've told us, they said they will do a lot of checks. But as a professional, there is a lot of checks before MOT is there. People get roadworthiness certificate without going to anywhere to test. By God's grace, this coming Saturday, that's July 7th, all safety professionals, Lagos and outside Lagos, we are discussing this particular issue at SCCI. So we'll come out with our roadmap, the ones for government, the one for state, the one for logistics company, advice, workable solutions, we give it all of them.
Thank you. But before we go, the LASEMA GM, Shino, let's I want you to still talk to Lagosians. I want you to reiterate, the latest development and what they should do at this particular moment.
Well, I want to appeal to our brothers and sisters out there that Lagos State government is ready and prepared to help during emergencies. But we also need your cooperation. One, we want you to respect our right to drive freely, to help victims. We also want you to respect the safety cordon that we have put in place to allow for seamless, efforts to rescue people. We also want you to imbibe the culture of calling for help rather than waste time. It is not time to start recording. The first thing you should do is to call for help, and then that help will come. We support, every effort made by the state now to mitigate these disasters that has happened, and then we will do everything possible to help the families of the victims.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Once again, to everyone watching us out there, just remember that the number to call is 112 or 767, as boldly displayed on his shirt. I remember it is actually very toll-free, so you are not paying. So just call whenever there is an emergency around you. Don't waste any time. Just call the number 112 or 767. They are very simple. As much as you can remember your account number, try to remember safety emergency numbers as well, because you never know when you might need them. A very big thank you to our guest in Lagos today, Adesina Tiamiyu, LASEMA GM, and of course Engineer Tiamiyu, Badmore Safety Expert and HSC Manager. Many thanks for being a part of the show, gentlemen. Today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And in between the show, we had Moshood Adewiyo, Director of Oyo State Fire Service from Ibadan in Oyo State, as well as a GD Uju, Policy Analyst from Abuja. Like he rightly said, call the number 112 or 767 for any emergency, and be sure to give the right information, okay? So we'll do this same time again tomorrow, Tuesday, when we'll go serious. I'm Uche Onyekuluje. Do have a wonderful Monday.
And I'm Justin Akademi. Many thanks for being a part of the show. See you again 11 a.m. tomorrow. Bye for now. you.